We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Happy Friday. Today is Friday, December the 9th, 2022. And we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. If you're coming on live, please do me a quick favor, hit that like button, hit the share button, especially if you're on a platform that you have the ability to like, share, and maybe tag Lolly Dolly everybody and let them know. Ramonepreston, my squad in the Ramonepreston Show. We are right here live in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta, of the ATL. This has been an extraordinary week. And guess what? Today is an extraordinary day. And if it ain't an extraordinary day yet, we're going to make it extraordinary for you. So please do me a favor. Put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from. Let me know what city you're watching me from. All you have to do is put in the comments the city that you represent, or maybe the city you're watching me from. I want to say welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Thank you so much, all of you, for your support, for following us, for subscribing to our pages, for giving us feedback and engagements, asking questions. I just appreciate all of you. Like, when people take the time to watch you and to listen to you and to take your advice, it means the world. At least it means the world to me. So I want to say thank you so much for being a part of our business and even our ministry community. We've got people who are part of our tribe and our community for ministry and business. I'm an entrepreneur, 19-year full-time entrepreneur, and I'm over 19 years in ministry. So I've been doing both for the last 2 decades. I've been preaching the gospel, leading people in the church, helping churches grow and become more efficient. And I've been an entrepreneur. My wife and I have been in real estate. We have been consulting real estate investors, small business owners, entrepreneurs, and people in their finances and businesses. This is 2 decades now. So when people take the time to listen to me and take my advice, it means the world to me. So I want to say thank you so much for being a part of our community. And again, put in the comments what city you're watching me from today. For those of you that don't know, let me just officially say, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. I am your host, Ramonepreston, and every Monday through Friday, just like today, Friday, December the 9th, I show up here on the show, even if I'm a few minutes past 12 noon, but every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time is the exact time I am designated to show up here on the show. And when I do show up live like I am right now, I share information with you that I know you can use to help start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, and even your wealth building dreams. Now, I have many platforms that I share information on. I have many stages, if you will, that I share information on about business, about real estate, about finances, about church growth, about ministry leadership, and a whole lot of stuff in between. But the Ramonepreston Show, Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon, is specifically information that I share with you to help you start, structure, and scale your businesses, your ministries, your income streams, and your wealth building dream, because I'm an infrastructure-minded person. I know it don't matter what your ideas are. It don't matter what your products and services are. It don't matter what you feel like you're supposed to be doing on this planet. If you ain't got no solid infrastructure, and if that infrastructure don't have the right systems and processes, and if you don't understand nothing what I'm saying right now about this, you're not going to really go too far. And even if you start making money, you're going to start collapsing, because you got to have a solid infrastructure. You got to have solid systems and processes. So with that being said, today I want to talk to you about the key to creative tax strategies. Now, there's a whole lot I'm going to cover today on the show, and I really want you to pay attention to what I'm going to be saying, because whether you are a W-2 employee, whether you are a 1099 contractor, or whether you are a legitimate business owner, owning an organization, whether it's a nonprofit or for-profit, everybody at some point is going to have tax problems, because your biggest expense is taxes. This is your biggest expense, which, by the way, here's a quick disclaimer. I'm not a tax strategist. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a legal licensed CPA or accountant. I'm just an entrepreneur who wants to become wealthy and who has paid enough money, experienced enough, studied and researched and learned enough to know that tax strategies are essential to your financial and business success, period, point blank. And it doesn't matter if you are a W-2 employee, 1099, or a business owner, you do have a tax expense. What you do with that tax expense and how you handle that tax expense is going to have a lot to do with how you're educated. It's not going to have everything to do with what type of CPA you have, what type of tax strategist you have, who does your taxes every year. That plays a role, but a lot of people are mistaken in believing that you're going to get a CPA or accountant or a tax person to fix all your tax problems when you go to them every year. It don't work like that. I have heard horror stories after horror stories behind people who assume that, oh, they just gonna find a tax person in January, February, or March of a calendar year, and this tax person is just gonna figure all their problems out. It just don't work like that. And I work closely with tax experts. I have one that I pay a retainer to on a regular basis, and we communicate regularly. He's a tax strategist. He has a firm. He's very, very successful. And I know other people that I've had relationships with who are accountants. I'm talking about certified public accountants, tax experts, people who know their stuff. And all of them will tell you that, number one, they ain't gonna fix your tax problem. They're going to help you. They're going to provide a service for you, but you got to run your own finances and your own business throughout the year. And if you don't educate yourself on these things, it's not going to end well for you. Okay. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the key to creative tax strategies. Okay. And I want to help you understand what I mean when I say creative tax strategies, which, by the way, I can't share everything with you on a show. I mean, I do my best every Monday through Friday for about an hour to just dump as much information on you. And I'm telling you, I still can't give you all the information that I know. And I have hundreds of videos on my online platform in the form of courses that have even more information. I've got a couple thousand videos on my YouTube page, and it still doesn't justify all the information that I provide through my online training courses. And so, yes, I want to sell you my courses. I want to provide coaching services to you. I want you to be in my program. I want to mentor you. I want to consult you. I want to do all those things for you. But even just as an educator who likes to share information, if you don't make a commitment to fix these problems that you might not even know you have when it comes to your taxes or your potential tax liability, it's not going to work for you. Okay. So let's define what creative tax strategies are. So when you hear me say creative tax strategies, what I'm referring to are a series of actions that minimize your taxes and maximize your profits. That's what I'm talking about, okay? So when you hear me talking about creative tax strategies, I want you to understand what I mean. I don't know what everybody else means, okay? And everybody got their own little definitions for what they say. But when Ramonepreston says creative tax strategies, this is something that you need to become really good at. When I say creative tax strategies, I am simply referring to a series of actions that, number one, minimize, if not eliminate, your taxes, and simultaneously, that's number one, and number two, maximize your profits. So if you are executing creative tax strategies in your personal life as a W-2 employee, if you're executing creative tax strategies in your life as a 1099 contractor or as a business owner, even as a preacher, a minister, a pastor, or nonprofit executive, if you're executing the correct creative tax strategies, here is what you should see happen. You should see your taxes minimized, if not eliminated, and you should see your profits maximized. So there's this yin yang thing that starts happening. This yin yang, right? Like on one hand, you increase your profits. On the other hand, you minimize and eliminate your taxes, and it has to be something that you become very creative on. Now, I'm going to share with you what the key is to this, but I want to set you up to show you, even before I give you the key to creative tax strategies, you need to know what creative tax strategies are. So again, creative tax strategies are a series of actions that you're going to take as a W-2 employee, a series of actions that you're going to take as a 1099 contractor or a business owner or whatever you do. And these series of actions are designed to help you minimize, if not eliminate, your taxes and maximize your profits. Okay? I hope you got that. If you didn't get it, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get access to all of this information at the end of today's show. And you can learn and study and deep dive and just binge watch video after video after video. I was just on the phone with someone this morning who told me that they're joining our 1-year mentorship program, which is a 1-year consulting coaching program that I put together. It's called the Millionaire Mentorship Program. And I'm just so appreciative because the gentleman really gave me, he just gave me my kudos. He was just saying that he was already sold on the mentorship program just from watching 1 or 2 courses that he had access to and watching videos on YouTube. And he realized that, man, this dude is giving so much information out. So he was already sold on it. And I'm going to give you opportunity to take advantage of getting access of these courses as well. So back to my point, creative tax strategies describe a series of actions that minimize your taxes, if not eliminate them, while maximizing your profits. Now, in order for these creative tax strategies to be effective, in order for these series of actions that you take to be effective, you have to view these actions through the lens of all 3 financial categories for tax purposes. So what that means is you have 3 different categories for tax purposes, right? And again, if you are a financial guru, if you are a tax expert, maybe some of the wording I use is not proper, okay? Maybe there are some nuanced differences that you have about what I'm saying. But again, I didn't say I was a tax expert. I didn't say I was a CPA or an accountant. That's what I don't claim to be. I'm an entrepreneur who has just taken a lot of time to learn, to pay people, to study, to research, to figure out what are the best ways that I can, implement and execute actions to minimize my taxes and maximize my deductions. The good thing is I have a lot of great experts, people who are certified, people who are licensed, people who have legal rights to assume those roles, who help me and who give me wisdom, even when I'm on this live show ranting. So I'm not saying everything I say is 100% absolutely correct, but what I am saying is if you take what I say and you share it with an expert, I'm almost 100% sure they're going to say, oh, okay, the word he uses there might not be perfect, but I get what he's saying. So I'm just giving y'all my disclaimer, because I know we get a lot of people who try to hate on your boy and who try to call me to the carpet. But what you can't do is deny my success. So I don't have a problem with people calling me to the carpet, but you can't deny the success of somebody's business and their finances. So with that being said, let's go back to the 3 financial categories for tax purposes. So you have those who labor. These are the W-2s. You have the active 1099s. And then you have, this is not 100% passive, but these are the EINs. And a lot of this is not passive. So your goal, if you are a W-2 employee, is not necessarily to become a 1099. Your goal at some point is to become a passive income earner. But the reason why I wanted to just bring this up real quick, in light of you understanding the key to creative tax strategies, is because when you start making money, when you start bringing money in and you start trying to identify with your tax problems and where your tax problems are located, you have to view that through the lens of the different financial categories, which means, like, for example, I'll use myself. I have a business, right? So I have a business with the EIN number. So I have business income that comes in. Because my business is a LLC, the net profits are treated different than passive income. They're treated like a lot of 1099 income because I'm paying self-employment tax on that income. But I also have income that is 100% 1099. It's just active income that I have coming in. So when I have all this income coming in, I have to be clear on how is this income going to be categorized for tax purposes. This is very important because I know people, especially multi-level marketers, people who are in like network marketing. A lot of times they'll say things like, oh, I'm making passive income or I'm making residual income, when the truth is they're not making passive income. That's not passive income, even if it is somewhat residual because it keeps coming in. But when it comes to their tax category or their tax purposes, that money that they're making is really 1099 income. And it ain't gonna be taxed as passive income. So it's important for you to know these things, especially when you are looking for creative ways to lower your tax liability and maximize your profitability. Now, just in case you don't know, the labor income, the W-2 employee is taxed the highest. Most W-2 employees are taxed 30 to 40%. Most 1099s are taxed maybe 20 to 30%. And one of the reasons why 1099 self-employee people are taxed almost just as much as W-2 employees, because they think like employees. They don't understand business. They don't understand passive income. They don't understand the things that the people who are business owners and investors understand. And you have to learn these things, and that's why I'm going to show you some of these things. Now, when it comes to the key to creative tax strategies, what is the key? What is the key to implementing and executing actions to lower your taxes and to maximize your profits? What is the key? I'm going to tell you what the key is. The key is this. Accounting. This is the key. Accounting is the key, the key to implementing and executing creative tax strategies. Accounting is the key. Accounting is the key. I want you to get that in your mind. If you want to implement and execute creative tax strategies, if you're looking for ways to lower your tax bill in 2023, if you know you don't want to go into next year and pay a whole lot of taxes, and maybe you don't even know if you're going to pay a whole lot of taxes because you don't even have an idea where to start, I'm telling you, your problem is all centered around this one word right here, accounting. I didn't say accountant. I didn't say CPA. I didn't say tax strategist. I said accounting, because remember, even when you go to an accountant, even when you go to a CPA, even when you find this tax strategist, even when you find this expert who can help you minimize your taxes, I'm telling you, they are going to need data from you. They're going to need information from you. So you can't just go to an expert and say, hey, I want you to help me with my taxes. And they like, okay, so show me what you got. Oh, I ain't got nothing. In other words, I do not have an understanding of the basic accounting of my own finances and my own business. It all begins, and most likely it's going to end with you understanding accounting. Now, you don't have to be sophisticated in accounting. You don't have to have a degree in accounting. I'm not telling you that you got to become the next best thing since sliced bread when it comes to accounting. But what I am saying is you need to at least learn the fundamentals of accounting for your own personal and business financial activities, if that makes sense. You got to figure this out. And I already know some of you lazy entrepreneurs, you swear up and down you're going to hire somebody as a bookkeeper, or you're going to find a virtual assistant and they're going to figure all this stuff out for you. No, they ain't. No, they ain't. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Number one, you can't pay these people who do this stuff enough. I have clients who are CFOs, who provide CFO services and bookkeeping services, who are tax experts in certain areas of taxes. And you can't hire them to come and fix all your problems. They're just not going to do it, because at a certain point, they're going to tell you, hey, bro, hey, sis, you need to figure out the basics of the A word, accounting. You need to figure this out. Accounting is the key to your creative tax strategies. So let's recap real quick. If creative tax strategies are by definition actions of a series of actions that you are engaging in to minimize your taxes and maximize your deductions, how are you going to engage in these actions if you do not have an accounting system or some type of platform or piece of technology or application or software to show what your financial activities are? You see where I'm going with this? So when you hear me talk about systems and processes and businesses, it all stems back to what I've been saying. You gotta understand systems. And so accounting is the key to you getting creative tax strategies. So I could give you all these strategies for business deductions. I could tell you to write this off and write that off, and you could do this, and you ain't got to pay taxes, and here's a non-taxable event. You could go get depreciation on real estate. I could tell you all this stuff, and you can learn this stuff. But if you do not have an accounting system connected to your personal financial activities and connected to your business financial activities, how are you going to use business deductions even if you learn them? You ain't. You're just not going to use them. So you have to start at the basics. You have to start at the foundation. You have to learn these foundational principles and concepts and start putting them to practice on a day-to-day basis. And over time, you're going to start seeing the progress you want to see. Now, for many of you who are watching me today, especially if you're watching me live and it's the end of the calendar year and you're about to go into a new calendar year, I'm telling you, now is the time for you to figure this out. You should be taking the next few remaining weeks that you have in this year and at least figuring out your accounting activities, which means that you need to figure out how much money you made this year, how much money you spent this year, how much net profits were left, whether you have it or not, and how much you're going to be potentially taxed on. And then you start working your way back to figure out how can you find other business deductions and do things to lower that tax bill. You got to figure this out now, because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to be like Nostradamus. I'm going to be like Nostradamus. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You ain't going to do nothing but just keep listening to people like me. You're going to get into 2023. You're going to go to a tax person or an accountant, or you're going to find somebody who can do your taxes, and they're going to do your paperwork, and they're going to tell you, oh, you got a problem. Oh, you got a real problem. Oh, you really, really got problems. This is what's going to happen. And then your stomach is going to start hurting. You're going to have a headache. You're going to be sick. You're going to be upset and mad. You're going to probably be mad at the person who's doing your taxes. You're going to blame them. You're going to blame the system. You're going to blame the government. You're going to blame your job. You're going to blame everybody. And you're going to realize that what I'm telling you to do now was what you should have done. I guarantee that's going to happen. If not next year, the year after. At a certain point, you have to figure this out. Okay? So I want you to become more well-rounded with creative tax strategies. I want you to learn from me, because I'm an entrepreneur who had to figure this out. I didn't know this when I first started my entrepreneurial journey. I didn't know this when I first started my business. The first business I started in 2006, Preston Real Estate Enterprises. I had a CPA to do my business for me. I sat down and had the CPA to do me and my wife's taxes for me. All right. And there are a lot of things that I didn't know then that I know now that I wish I knew, because it would have been totally different for me. And I've had other CPAs that I've worked with in the past. Some good, some not good. But I can't really blame them. They doing their job. It was me that didn't know a lot of the things that I needed to know throughout the calendar year, so that when I did go to them, and I really say this with respect to and in defense of all of you who are tax people, who do taxes for people, who are CPAs and accountants, I really don't blame y'all. I'm going to put the blame on the entrepreneur for this part, because the entrepreneur has to take responsibility for their own personal financial accounting and for their own business accounting. Because I would rather you go to a CPA next year and say, hey, I don't know everything, but at least I have a QuickBooks account. At least I've tracked all of my income and expenses. I did my best to categorize them as best as I could, so they can at least go on there and clean it up to make it better and polish it up as a professional. But when you don't have anything, that is not the expert's fault. That's your fault. Because can't nobody stop you today, can't nobody but you stop you today from getting my courses on creative tax strategies, learning how to operate a basic financial system like QuickBooks. I teach some of this stuff in my courses, right? Nobody can stop you from getting this stuff. Nobody can stop you from paying somebody like me as an entrepreneur and a business consultant to sit down with you and walk you through the steps. You can pay for coaching. You can pay for me to consult you on this. Nobody can stop you from doing that. And nobody can stop you from getting as good as you can, so that when you do hire a CPA, you are light years ahead. Who can stop you from doing that today except you? You're the only one that can stop you. So don't go to blaming all these other people. I've got clients that what I'm saying to you, I've told them. And I've got clients who got it together, and they're way better off now than they were when they first started with me, because I gave it to them straight up and let them know ain't nobody gonna fix this problem but you, and you ain't gonna be able to hire nobody to come in and fix this problem, because most likely you ain't got enough money to hire no CFO. And even if you did have money to hire a CFO, you should first be hiring a business coach or a consultant to help you as a CEO before you hire a CFO. Because if you hire a CFO, even if you got the money, but you don't know anything about the basic operating standards and systems of a business, and you just winging it every day, at a certain point, that professional CFO ain't gonna be dealing with you. They gonna quit, because they can go somewhere else and get a job with a company that got their stuff together. All right? So again, the key to creative tax strategies is accounting. This is the key to your creative tax strategies, accounting. And so what does this mean? What this means is you have to get educated and become more familiar with managing the day-to-day operations of a financial system. This is what you have to do. This is your responsibility. This is your responsibility. And I know everybody's not like me. I might be a little weird. I might be a little obsessive. But hey, what I do know is when I started my business, and as I continued to try to build my business, I realized that one of the reasons why I continued to hit a ceiling and plateau and collapse at certain points in my entrepreneurial journey was because I did not have an understanding. I did not have enough education on running systems. I didn't know enough about them. One of the main systems that I had to learn about was a financial system. Now, when I say financial system, I'm gonna really make it easy for you. I'm talking about something like QuickBooks. Because this is going to be like, once you figure this part out, this is going to become like your best friend. Like I probably have about 4 or 5, I might have about 4 or 5 QuickBooks accounts for different businesses, right? And it may be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 4 or 5 of us that have access, including my tax strategist and CPA and a few of his people have access to my QuickBooks accounts. But I'm just showing you, I know all the ins and outs of all those accounts because I am always, every day, tracking my income, my expenses, and my cash flow. Every day. Every day I want to know how much is coming in, how much is going out, and how much is left. Why do I want to know that? Because what I know is if I'm going to implement and execute creative tax strategies to what? To lower my tax bill and to increase my profits, I have to have my finger on the money. I've got to know what's going on. And the only way I can know what's going on in my businesses, the only way I can know how much income I made, how many expenses I had, and how much cash is left, the only way I'm going to know that is how? Through a financial system. So I can log on to QuickBooks and I can see today, yesterday, the last week, the last month, the last year, how much income came into my business, how many expenses went out of my business, and how much cash flow is left. Because depending on these numbers, these data points, this math, that will determine what my potential tax liability will be, and it's ultimately going to determine what my profits are. So it helps me to decide what products and services are working, what products and services are not working, what areas of my business am I spending too much money in, what areas of my business am I making the most money in. How long am I holding my free cash flow? Am I moving that cash flow into things that will help lower my taxes and maximize my profits? All of this stuff that I'm talking about is tied to executing creative tax strategies. And executing creative tax strategies is all tied to you getting better at this. That's as simple as that. I know I'm saying it's simple. It ain't that simple, but it is that simple. Okay? And so you can't tell me that you can't learn it. You can learn this. You can learn this. And you should be learning it from an entrepreneur who is doing what you're doing. Because I'm not a QuickBooks expert, right? I'm not a tax expert. There are people who specialize in those things. There are people who have certifications and degrees and licenses for all those things. I'm an entrepreneur that got to a point in my entrepreneurial journey that I realized I want to be a successful, legitimate business owner. I want to have integrity. I don't want to fly under the radar. I want to pay taxes if I have to. I want to do things right. I want to be at peace when I go to bed. I don't want to get over on the government. I don't want to be shady. I don't want none of that. I want to do the right thing. And I want to win doing the right thing. And I want to play the game the way the big players are playing the game. And I want to win the game. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that I had to do was I had to make the decision and the commitment that I've got to learn these systems. I've got to learn sales. I've got to learn marketing. I've got to learn operations, and I've got to learn financials. And I've got to have systems and technology and platforms that house information for these areas so that I can be on top of what my business is actually doing. I can know the pulse, the health of my business, but it all starts right here. So if you know you have a potential tax bill for 2023, if you know you're going to pay taxes in 2023, or if you don't know if you're going to pay taxes in 2023, what you need to do today is you need to make the decision and the commitment to get in the know. We're going to get started right there. Okay, so let's just assume you do not know enough about QuickBooks. You don't know how to use it effectively. You're not efficient with it. You don't have anybody helping you. You're the solopreneur, and you don't know how much money you made, how much money you spent. You don't know if you're going to pay taxes, if you're not going to pay taxes. You just all over the place. You might work a job and do your business on the side. You're just confused. Well, here's where we need to begin. We need to begin by at least introducing you to the basics of creative tax strategies, which includes, but is not limited to, learning the fundamentals, the basics of QuickBooks. So I have several courses that can guide you along the way. Okay, I have some basic courses on finances. I have a course called the ABCs of Financial Literacy. The ABCs. A is for accounting, B is for balance sheet, C is for cash flow. I have another course called Creative Cash Flow Strategies. I have another course called Creative Tax Strategies. I have another course called The Income Ladder of Success. I promise you, there is no way you will watch all the videos in those 4 courses and be financially illiterate. You won't be. It's just no way. You will be a beast in understanding the world of finances and business accounting, but you have to learn that. Now, if you are under pressure and you feel like just learning courses and watching videos is too slow for you, I have a coaching program where I can personally mentor you. And that gives me an opportunity before this year ends to have a one-on-one sit down with you. I have a 1-year coaching program called the Millionaire Mentorship Program, and we start you off in this 1-year program with a 2-hour one-on-one coaching session. And in that 2 hours, we're going to go over everything you can think about when it comes to you, your finances, and your business. And we can identify with where your pain points are. We can identify with what needs to be fixed today, because you can't wait to fix this in 2023 because you already are behind and you're already under pressure. Whether it's tax problems, whether it's financial systems, whatever it is, we can fix it. But you do not have to stay where you are. You just have to be committed and make the decision to lean in and to get connected, okay? So I want to give you access to these courses. I want to give you an opportunity to sit down with me and allow my team and I to help you to get you moving forward. But I just want you to know, from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, from a person to a person, I'm a real person. This ain't no automated system you're talking to, okay? This ain't no metaverse representative. This is a real human being. I do not want you to live your life under financial pressure, under business pressure, because you just don't know certain things that you need to know. But I can't force you to get in the know. And if money is stopping you, then that's your problem. You've allowed money to stop you, because money is not your problem. Obviously, it's not your problem because you keep giving it away. And think about it. If you do have a tax problem for 2023 and you do need write-offs and business deductions, well, guess what? The money you spend to join any of my programs is a write-off. So just add that to your write-off and your business deduction anyway. But don't just give your money away. That's the dumbest thing I've heard people say. I heard an influencer on social media say that the other week. They was like, they had this video. I know they was trying to be controversial, but it was just stupid. The guy was like, here is why I made the decision that I'm gonna just go ahead and pay my taxes. And I'm thinking, that is dumb. Like, you just ridiculous. Even the IRS, even the government encourages business owners to spend money and to do things that lower their tax bill. Invest, hire people, hire consultants. Like, these are the things that they encourage you to do so that your business can grow. So why you just gonna just lay down and be lazy and give up and say, you know what, I'm gonna just go and pay taxes? Well, if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. But I can guarantee you, ain't no way in this world you're gonna become no millionaire and you're gonna get financially free, and that's how you thinking. So with that being said, I wanted to give you a little bit about the key to Creative tax strategies, which I've already told you, the key is financial systems. A financial system is like QuickBooks, and you have to familiarize yourself with these types of systems or with this type of system so that you can start tracking your income and expenses. Now, I have certain strategies that I could show you in my courses and as a coach on what you can do today to basically lower your potential tax bill for 2023. And I have like a 10-step process I take my students and my clients through, because you're basically going to capture all your financial activities from January 1 to now, and you're going to just reconcile and rinse and repeat a few steps so that you can come to a conclusion to know exactly where you are. Because when you start making money and you start paying CPAs and tax strategists to work with you every month or every quarter, what I'm saying to you is going to make a whole lot of sense, because you're going to get into forecasting. You're going to get into wanting to know all your income and expenses and all your free cash reserves so that you can start making financial moves to lower your taxes and maximize your profits. You're going to want to know all this stuff. Okay. So you might as well start now. If you would like access to my courses, or maybe you just have a few questions because you still don't know what is the most important step you need to take before the year ends, I want you to reach out to me now. Stop overplaying it in your mind. Stop analyzing it. Stop overthinking. Stop procrastinating. Don't wait until you leave the calendar year to do your due diligence, okay? Text the word millionaire to me today so that we can have an opportunity to speak to you and give you some direction on what exactly you need to do to implement and execute these strategies before the year ends. All right. All you have to do is text millionaire to 404-478-7213. I'm telling y'all, this has been an extraordinary week, and I'm looking forward to showing back up here Monday and every day during the week for the rest of this year on the Ramonepreston Show. But I look forward to helping you take your business to the next level. I look forward to showing you the things that I've learned that have helped me become successful in my personal life financially and even in my business financially. And I want you to live by those same principles and practices, because I know it was not easy for me to learn these things. It's still not easy to do the things that I've learned, because building a business and being successful and being consistent with that success over long periods of time takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of support. It takes a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration. It takes a lot of strategies. But guess what? It's worth every ounce of pain, every dollar, every moment of pressure. All the stuff that you go through to build a successful business is worth it, because once you start seeing all this stuff that I'm talking about work, and you realize that you're really winning in life and you're winning in business and you're winning in your finances, it changes everything, because you're probably changing a lot of people's lives as well. So I look forward to talking with you. I would love to answer any questions that you might have that might be bothering you about your taxes, about your finances, about systems, whatever it is. Just reach out to me. Text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Appreciate all of you again. And please be sure to put in the comments, if you would be so kind, put in the comments what city you're watching me from. And I want you to also put in the comments, what's your biggest takeaway from today's show? Like, what did you hear today? Like, what was the big aha moment that you had from today's show? I would love to know, like, what did you hear today? What did you learn today that just really resonated with you? Okay. Carnell, shout out to Carnell, one of our Millionaire Blueprint students on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you all for the birthday shout outs as well. Carnell said, I had to stop the course to listen to you in person. It's always an honor. Man, I'm honored to have you on our Millionaire Blueprint program. Appreciate you always giving us feedback. And I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm grateful to know that it's changing and transforming your life. And I can't wait to hear all the success stories that are going to come because of what you're learning. So I appreciate all of you. Have an amazing rest of today. Have an amazing weekend. And I look forward to seeing you Monday, 12 o'clock noon, same place, same time, right here on the Ramonepreston Show.